Hello, Speed Gaming. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Valentine's Day installment of our racing series. We've got a spoiler race for you today, which we'll explain in just a bit. Two great runners, Sailor Nep and High Ruler, will be showing off for us today. I'm Rossi. I'm here with my good buddy Specs. You looking forward to this?
I'm really excited about this race. Yeah, we got some good runners in this. I always enjoy watching Spoiler Log. Playing it, not so much, but I love watching other people struggle through it.
Yeah, it can definitely be nerve-wracking because you know where everything is, which also means you know where all the safeties are, and you have to decide how many of them are worth getting.
Yeah, and you're always worried, like, did you do everything the most efficient way? Did you dive each dungeon at the right time? Is your routing the most logical? Is there a better way you could have done it? And you gotta do it quickly. A lot of choices to make.
Yeah, and sometimes there are just no good safeties on your route, and you wind up with like 6 hearts, green mail, no half magic, no powder, and that's how you're doing the GT climb.
And no bottles. Yeah, and it's just rough. And
Yeah.
then you have to have a huge debate of like, where do you find a third sword? Where do you find silver to make Ganon not so bad? Yeah, what do you do? And when do you prioritize getting swords and stuff, better weapons to make your dungeon fights better, or do you go into a lot of your dungeon fights with early on with like iffy equipment so you can route more efficiently? So there's a lot of decisions like that.
And one other thing we should mention about spoiler is that since all the runners know where everything is anyway, they're allowed to watch each other. They're allowed to watch this restream. So if you see them in chat, say hi. It's always kind of funny when they wind up, doing a bit of live commentary on their own stream in chat of, hey, look what I've got to do now. But yeah, we should be underway in about 14 seconds here.
Okay,
And
there we go.
different starts.
Yeah, already divergence. Interesting.
High Roller getting money. Money's good if you need bottle vendor or entering pod or paying off Zora or what
I
have
guess
you.
Nep's gonna hope for the bombs here in the bushes. Early on, probably. It looks like.
Which means there probably aren't bombs in like Skull Woods, because if there were, why would you bother?
Okay, one bomb. That's enough to get you going in Kakariko.
Oh, I just realized. Yes, Nep's going to the race game here. You don't need to check it. You can do it blind. It's okay.
If that makes sense, because right here is the flute, which you really can activate while you're in Kakariko, which is super nice. So that actually makes a lot of sense. And then you can get that bomb. She was able to get that bomb, which is super nice.
Yeah, and High Roller has grabbed Bombos out of the mushroom spot, which we know we will need to open up Turtle
Or Rock.
Rock.
Yep. So you can expect Nep will I'm guessing Nep will probably save and quit in Lost Woods area. Most likely. Well, with flute, maybe not, but maybe save and quit from drop down.
Yeah, but well, I mean, now that she has the flute, she can just flute off to whatever she needs to do next.
Yeah, exactly. So either option would work fine. It'd be about the same.
And of course, she'll get that sword out of Lost Woods. She always does free the chickens in Chicken Hut. Oh, vanilla bottle in the back of tavern, only it has red goo in it. So that's a good example of grabbing a safety that, Sick Kid presumably doesn't have anything or she would have checked it. Ooh, as we find the Moon Pearl in Blind's Hut. But at the same time, you now have a bottle with red goo.
Yeah, so that's a really convenient and nice one. You can also see there that Hyler was grabbing all that money. He's up to 600 because Zora is required for an item in this seed. So they do have to make sure to farm up all that cash early on to get that vital item. So they gotta route that in.
I didn't even check what was on Zora, so I'll wait to be surprised.
Okay, I won't tell people, but it is a required item that they will want.
Meanwhile, there is both hammer and fire rod sitting in the well. This is a pretty loaded CAC area.
Yeah, a lot of good items here. Flute, a sword, bombos, yeah, hammer, glove, a red potion bottle. So we'll have only Darkhold Axis in this seed, which is kind of scary because it means you have so many routing options in this seed. So many ways you can go about routing the Dark World and Light World together. Which means there's just way more ways you can route this, and way more ways it can go wrong, way more ways it might go right for you. So, Darkhold Axis is a scary thing.
Yeah, and then you add on top of that, with Swamp being a pendant, I didn't even check where the mirror was, so who knows if we're even getting that.
I can tell you, I know where it's at, otherwise I won't say anything.
Don't spoil it.
But, I think they'll get mirror at a somewhat reasonable time. It's a little out of the way, but nothing too crazy. So I'm interested to see how they route that and how much they prioritize that mirror.
Nep's getting her bombos. She's got the flute out. Oh, I guess she's doing the sword now.
Yeah, it makes sense. And then either save and quit or walk out and flute. Yeah, save and quit probably a little bit faster.
And yeah, I like Nep's route because now High Ruler has to double back to activate the flute before he can do anything else.
Yeah, High Rules is probably what I would have done, but you can see how Nep planned it out a little bit better and got some time save here.
She's making for Mini Moldorm Cave.
And there are a couple good items in there.
She also knows that the bush crab gives bombs. That's another thing in the spoiler log, so she's really been able to stock up on bombs just from that one bush crab.
Yeah, and just grab them on her way and not have to worry about a whole lot in her routing.
Incidentally, bombs, I believe, are also the stun prize today, so really plenty of options to get bombs.
That's super nice. Okay, now we have Darkhold Axis.
5-minute Dark World access, and honestly, and a bow. Even if this weren't spoiler, that would be pretty fast Dark World access.
Yeah, it would be. You'd still be overwhelmed with options at this point, like how much you keep doing in Light World before you go to Dark World, and definitely lots of options on the table right now. Lots of places you can go.
But you can also see the different choices the runners make in terms of what they want for safeties. High Ruler ducked into the dam to get a heart container. Nep said, I'm not going to spend that 10 seconds to get an extra heart container. I'm just going to do this seed on one fewer heart container.
Yeah, that's not too out of the way, but yeah, it's free time save if you don't go for it. It looks like we're gonna get the pod dive here, which makes sense. You got bow, hammer, and you do have a light circuit fire rod, so you can pretty much do whatever you want on pod, and grab whatever you want out of it. But pod is a pendant today.
Yeah, nothing like diving green pendant pod, right?
Yeah.
You just hope Sahasrahla doesn't have anything.
Yeah, you just gotta hope that, but at least our players do know the answer to that today.
Yeah, and there's also very clearly something in pod, or they wouldn't be going here.
Yep. Although, I mean, even in a non-spoiler, pod always has something. The chances pod doesn't have something, I can count on my hand how many seeds I've played where pod didn't have a vital item.
Now, High Ruler going straight to Hype Cave, a more traditional route, picks up his Master Sword there.
Yeah.
As
it's
well.
Quake. That's
which is required,
for,
yeah.
Meyer. Yeah. Having the extra sword would definitely make things a bit easier. You can definitely see how, Hyrule's prioritizing, like, getting better equipment a little bit sooner before diving these dungeons, whereas Nep's trying to beeline for the progression and going to these dungeons a bit sooner with You know, one less sword, one less heart, a
Ooh.
little less. Ooh, little safeties.
High Roller takes a death. I mean, that's not horrible to recover from. It does take, half a minute. It eats up a bit of time as Nep gets the hook shot and is out of pod, so that was the only thing we were going for there.
It definitely does. And in a spoiler log race, it's hard to make up that time. The best way you can do it is just to, like, cut out safeties or just, but the biggest thing is to try to not let it tilt you and keep playing well. That's the most important thing, is to try to just continue to play well. Don't let the death upset your gameplay. Okay, now with hookshot 2, like, you can do quite a bit on mountain if you wanted at this point with hook shots and gloves and hammer and flute.
And of course, the hook shot is also a stun weapon, so it's just nice to have for that.
Nep did not grab the.
Oh
Quake.
yeah, Nep skipped Quake,
and that's required for Meyer. And Meyer
yeah,
is crystal, isn't it?
Yeah, she will presumably realize that when she can't get into Meyer.
Yep. That's going to be some time safe for Hyrule there, and some of our other runners versus Nep. That's going to hurt a little bit. I mean, Hype Cave's not that out of the way. You can definitely get it back in later, probably at some other point when you're going back to the Dark World. But definitely a bit of a time loss there for getting that Quake.
Yeah, there is no situation under which it is faster to double dip Hype Cave than to single dip Hype Cave.
Yeah, absolutely. And she had the bomb, so that wasn't the issue. Just forgot. Maybe she'll even grab it now. We'll see. Probably be a while. I mean, it's not like you need the Quake anytime soon. It's just through Meyer access, so you can wait on it for quite a while. Yeah, we already have a tempered here in the sea. That is, yeah, with the sword on Stumpy, Lost Witch drop down, and Hype Cave. That's pretty nice for our runners to have that tempered so early. And you can see Hyrule here is making his way to Zura. That's where he got all that cash. Nep doesn't have all that money yet, so she would not be able to route this in nearly as soon.
Yeah, but if there's just even a single 300 here in Paradox Cave, then Nep has Zora money.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll get it at some point. There'll be many opportunities, and
oh yeah, Samaria's important.
Yep, there you go. There's your Samaria. So Zora was required today. This might be one of the times you're glad to spoiler log race, where you know in advance you want to go to Zora. And we got Titans. A little bit of cash for Nep there.
And finally, some arrows to use with the bow.
Yeah, finally. That's one thing also about spoiler logs. You have to think about, grabbing, is like planning your bombs and your arrows. And as you mentioned, Jossie, there's lots of bomb drops in this seed from the enemies and the stun prizes. But with the arrows, though, that can be the same situation. But often there's not as many drops from enemies. And when you're not opening lots of random chests to find items, it can be a lot harder to manage your arrows in a category like this. So you gotta actually plan those arrows in a lot, or you might find yourself in a boss fight or a Mimic's room and you have no arrows.
Yeah, though of course routing in Eastern always helps because Eastern has plenty of arrows to supply yourself with.
Yeah, Eastern's great, but some of the other dungeons in like GT can be a bit rougher with it if you forget your arrow count by that point.
Oh, definitely. I love the Thieves Town track on the Omori MSU.
Definitely catchy.
It's actually a battle theme.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've not played the game. I'm familiar with it, but never played it. And Hyrule is going into pod now to get their hook shot. See if they grab anything else, but I'm assuming probably just a hook shot like Neps did. I don't think Thieves had anything in. I think it had a couple of heart containers in it, which was super nice, but I don't think it had any critical items. Yeah, the big chest and big key chest both have heart containers. Big chest is a bit out of the way. And even big key chest is slightly out of the way. I
Yeah.
do believe Nep skipped
so
big key chest.
yeah, and I don't expect her to do the big chest either.
I would be surprised as well. It's kind of inconvenient because those are like the two most out of the way chests you could just about have in this mode. Like in Thieves, I mean. Like those are the two most out of the way chests, and the other ones are the heart containers. So of course the heart containers would be in those two chests, the two that you don't want to go to, not the ones that are on your way.
Yeah, like attic's out of the way, but you still have to bomb the ceiling.
Exactly. So at least if the chest did have something, you wouldn't mind grabbing it.
But it looks like High Ruler's now gonna go to the mountain and get his mitts.
Makes sense. Opens up a lot of your routing decisions down the road, so that you can at that point route much more efficiently. The reason a sailor didn't open the chest, this is a spoiler log mode. This means that all of the players have been given the information of where all the items are 15 minutes in advance of the race, and they get 15 minutes to plan out their route. So in this mode, it's about you already know the items are, you know all the information about the enemy drops, so you have to plan out an efficient route and execute well, and decide how many safeties you want to grab. Do you want to enter dungeons with not very good items? So it's a lot about how well can you route when you know where things are in a short amount of time, and how can you execute with not the best items because you're skipping a lot of those safeties you would normally get in a normal mode. So it's a little bit different skill set than you would see in the more traditional rando modes.
Yeah, you can see Nep's taken out her bottle of red goo just to be safe here on the blind fight, but she gets the script perfectly.
Great script. Great job.
But yeah, it's 6 heart green male blind.
Yeah, a little scary. Some newer players would not be comfortable there. And if you do mess up the script there, she doesn't have Boner or Cape to kind of back it up, or Samara or anything right now. She wouldn't have really had a good backup. It would have been chaos if that script did not go well. So that's some of the scary stuff you have to do potentially, or make decisions about in spoiler log. Quake is in Hype Cave. Snep went to Hype Cave to grab her second sword, but she forgot to grab the Quake, we believe. So she'll have to go back there for that Quake, which is required for Mire entrance. But fortunately, Hype, and there's the mirror. So now our players can really do some great routing. They have, hookshot, fire rod, hammer, mirror, flute, and titan mitts. So you can go most places now in the seed and really route efficiently now. As just about everything in the overworld is open to you at this point. The main thing you're probably missing is like book and boots.
Yeah, and you know that the boots have to be deep because the runners would have gone for them as soon as possible if they were anywhere we could get to right now.
Absolutely. Like hookshot, boots the most, but also like flute, hookshot, and mirror, what you could call your 4 movement items in a way, or routing items. You want those early, but boots especially. So if our players aren't getting those boots, they gotta be somewhere gross. And seeing Hyrule go to Thieves now, where we saw Nep a little bit ago, and Nep is diving into Skull here. What did Skull have? Skull is a crystal.
It's a 5/6 even.
Oh, it's a pyramid. I don't think pyramid was required today, but still.
Either way, it's a crystal, so we have to do it.
Yeah, you want to do it. You have the fire rod. This is the most convenient time to do it. While doing Thieves, you wouldn't want to have to come back just to do Skull later. Would be silly. Curious to see. This fight shouldn't be too bad because you do have Hammer and Tempered. Especially since having Tempered means this fight with Mothra should be pretty easy. But of course, if you get some bad RNG with the spikes and Mothra, it can still get a little gross. But you just need to get 4 good sword swings with the Tempered. it shouldn't be too bad.
I mean, if Moth's well behaved, it's super easy, just 4 slashes with Tempered, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. If Moth was nice, this is the easiest fight ever. If Moth was not nice, it can get questionable. Okay, Moth has been a little rude here.
Yeah, those spikes kept getting in the way, but there we go.
Yeah. Nep was able to keep hitting Martha, so that Martha couldn't get any attacks out, so it didn't get too bad. And the spikes didn't go too much to the center of the stage, so fight didn't get too bad. Even though Martha was not going down easily.
And just to put some context here, you expect like really good runners, depending on the seed, to finish somewhere between 45 and 60 minutes. Looks like Nep's doing Eastern now. Makes sense.
Yep, one of our crystals. Is that a crystal? Yeah, that is a crystal.
Yeah, Hera you save for last, because if you know there's nothing in Hera, then you just do it immediately before GT.
Yeah, and then Mirror. That makes total sense. That's pretty much ideal, that's ideal like in any race to be able to do Hera last and just Mirror afterwards into GT.
Now, after this, Nep will need money for Zora because she's not going to do Meyer TR without Samaria, and Ice. I imagine she'll want that for Ice as well, just so she can do Icebreaker.
Yeah, and Hyrule not getting the script here. Got it on the first phase, but the second phase went a little chaotic. But he should have enough health to tank it through. It's a little close. I think he'll be okay. Okay, I got a little close, but had enough health to be able to tank it. But
that's why you have to know how much safeties you need, and why Hyruler's got one more heart container than Nep.
Yeah, Hyrule made the right call grabbing that heart. It's smart to play by, what you know you're comfortable with, and not, I would say, force yourself to have less safeties than you know is realistic for where you're at and and how you play.
Oh, Captain 1977 reminding us that Nep never grabbed that 300 out of Sank that we saw Hyruler get at the very beginning. So
okay.
She's got money anytime she wants it.
Good to know. Thank you.
Hyruler's going for the mirror as well.
And getting the arrow refill here in Eastern by Nep, as you mentioned earlier. And the cape. That'll be a nice safety item to make a lot of things easier in this seed.
Definitely.
And being a big chest, that's super worth it. If it had been like big key chest, which is out of the way, that would have been a much harder decision for our players to make. But big chest, that's an easy decision. Grab that if you go beat the boss.
Yeah, and especially, since we're going to be doing a relatively low percent Ganon fight, it is really nice to have the cape for phase 2.
Absolutely. Yeah, you want that. Because if you don't get like the nice method with boots or hook shot, and having the cape there as a backup, or maybe even your main plan, it is nice. And it makes it easy to dodge all the fire bats on all the phases.
Hyruler taking a dip into Myershed here. Nice use of iframes to get past those little fireballs as he pulls the blue mail out of Myershed.
I believe the other mail is deep in Pendant Swamp where you don't have to go. So that's the only mail that was easy to grab. We will not be seeing them going to dive deep into Pendant Swamp just to get that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're even getting flippers.
Yeah, because those flippers, I believe, are kind of a gross spot, and you don't need them if you don't go into the swamp, so...
Ooh, yeah, wow, okay. Well, we'll see if we pull them, but once both runners are past the spot, if they haven't pulled them, we'll spoil it.
Yeah, I think we're only going to see blue mail today. But I would expect everyone to grab that blue mail. If you go into Maya, you're going to be right next to Maya. Oh, yep, and then Nap got her 300 out of Sync, so she has Zora in her mind. That's good. As you would expect.
Zora on My Mind. That's a hit song, right?
Yes. I'd listen to it. So Hyrule there, interestingly, he took the time to go into Pendant Desert and he grabbed that lamp out of map chest. That's a completely skippable item since they have Fire Rod, but Hyrule is deciding that lamp is worth enough time save or making things easier to go into the desert just to get that lamp.
He's about to do Dark Mire. I don't blame him.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I probably would have skipped it. I wouldn't be surprised if Nep does. It'll be interesting. It's not because what, but it maybe took close to a minute to grab that lamp. Probably about a minute.
Yeah, thanks to not having boots.
Yeah, so it's you have to decide. Will you get a minute back at least if you grab that lamp, or really lessen enough risk down the road that you think it's worth spending that minute? I can see other runners deciding to skip that lamp, but I don't think it's a bad decision at all. Sometimes people skip the lamp, and then they end up regretting it later when the dark room gets too difficult with low health, or they can't actually do the dark room as quickly as they would have liked, and they didn't really save that much time at all. Or any. Did Ice Road Cave have something? Yes. Actually, no. Ice Road Cave has Ether, but Ether is not required.
Did Nep maybe misread?
Oh, yeah. I think she messed up. She confused Ether and Quake for Mire entrance, probably.
Yeah. She must have misread something in the log.
Oh.
She's gonna be disappointed when she gets to Mire.
Yeah. It's not the worst thing, because at least it's a quicker enough flute to Mire later on, but when she goes there, she realizes it's Quake. She'll have to check the spoiler log and go, wait, where was that Quake? And she won't be too happy to see that.
What's she doing back on the mountain?
That's a good question.
Is she doing TR? We don't have an ice rod yet.
Yeah, and I believe that, yeah. What's in Super Bunny and Hookshot Cave?
Oh, I'm just seeing where the ice rod is. Oh my.
Oh, you're right. I didn't even think about that.
Don't spoil it, but
you're right.
let's let the viewers see how this all fits together.
Yep, I see why this makes sense, actually.
Yeah, wow, okay.
Okay, the seed's a bit grosser than I thought it was.
Yeah, same. I had totally not thought to check where Ice Rod was until she started going for Mountain.
This happened to me the other day where I tried to go to Lake Hylia Island with the fake flippers, and then I forgot that you can't land on the shallow water to then mirror from it onto Lake Hylia, and I wasted like a minute in my seed. Luckily, it was just my third sword, and I got one later anyway. But yeah, so I learned that recently. Yep, you gotta have flippers, I believe. I don't think there's any way out flippers to get to Lake Hylia Island in this mode.
I
don't think I think even a water rock you can't mirror out of it, right?
That I don't know.
That's the only thing I don't know is if you could set up a water rock over the shallow water and mirror, but I don't think that works because I don't think the game detects you as being on the water. I don't know. You know what? Maybe I should test it out. I'll ask someone sometime. I'm guessing no, though.
Anyway, High Ruler is now on Vitreous. Let's see how he does with this fight.
He does not have Born or Cape to back this up. He does have Tempered and Bow and a little bit of health and Blue Mail, so it shouldn't be that bad. Although he does take a hit. Ooh.
Oof. Yeah, this is another reason why, you know, doing Eastern first to get that cape might have been a better play.
Yeah, that would have made this fight a lot easier. If I was High Ruler, I would personally just use the bow to finish up these smaller ones, and then use my sword on the final part just to be safer. It'd be slower but safer. That's me. Because this feels risky.
Yeah.
One step
and
up
at this point, you're close. Well, I guess he's just going to take down the last one with his sword anyway. I was going to say, at this point, you're close enough. You could just use the bow and have enough arrows for the big eyeball. But
yeah, you're right. Well, High Ruler clutches this one. That was definitely scary, but he closes it out. Good on his end.
And that was with Blue Mail.
Yeah, with Blue Mail. Like, imagine if you were still on Green Mail for that. You have to water rock through the... Where was that death on?
Chain Chomps.
Oh, the classic.
Yeah.
I'm not I think...
Before she could hit the switch or
Yeah.
anything.
Dang. Hydro Power saying you have to water walk through the whirlpool for Hylia Island? Okay, I'll have to experiment with that. That's interesting.
Oh, so the whirlpool that's east of Skull Woods, you would water walk into that, and then... That makes sense. But of course, that would require the boots, which we still don't have.
Yeah, because you have to set up the water walk in the Dark World. I'm assuming you can mirror the water walk. I don't know for sure. That's something I want to have to test out because it would be.
I believe you can charge the water walk by going over one of the drop-down pits for Skull Woods.
Yeah, no, that makes complete sense how you would set it up. Okay, you can mirror out of a water walk. Okay, so they could. That would have been an option if someone was familiar with it. Of course, that is some notable setup to go to Skull Woods and then go all the way down to Dark Lake Hylia. So it's not exactly ideal either, but yeah, so neither situation's ideal, but that could still be a lot faster than having to dive TR twice here and double dip it.
And now High Ruler's going to Eastern, where he will presumably pick up that nice cape as a safety.
And now look at that cape. Also interesting to me that High Ruler never went to Stumpy and got that third sword. Well, yes, he does. It's just not on the tracker. Never mind. Yeah, I definitely saw him with Temper earlier. That's fine. I was just like, wait, why didn't he go to Stumpy? I'm interested to see when Nep finally goes to Meyer and finds out the bad news.
Yeah. We'll wait to see her reaction. Meanwhile, there are the flippers.
There they are. Yeah, super gross.
And Nep's out. She also didn't steal the small key from the Pokey, I don't believe.
Oh, yeah. What was NTR Big Chest? I don't think it was.
That was a small
chest.
key, but she only has one small key, which means her plan is to go to Laser Bridge, I guess. Because she'll unlock, when she does Trinex, she'll unlock the door after Crystal Roller, and then she'll need another small to get to Trinex.
Oh, you're saying she skipped the big chest? Yes. Yeah. That makes sense. Okay, now she'll get her one mail upgrade, get the blue mail, make things a bit easier for her.
Even Nep's grabbing the blue mail.
I don't know what player doesn't grab that blue mail. That's pretty on the way. I'd call you crazy.
High Ruler stocking up on arrows, does get his cape there, probably wishes he had it for the midi fight.
Yeah, I would think so.
And there's Nep's reaction of, oops.
Oops.
Time to look up.
Quake.
That pause was undoubtedly her looking in the log for where Quake is.
And she has not grabbed the lamp. This would have been a chance to probably grab the lamp. She could also do it after Meyer later, but if you're going to go into Meyer without lamp, you're not grabbing a lamp ever.
Yeah, so, I don't expect her to grab the lamp, honestly.
I don't either. I think she's going to skip that lamp.
Like, we don't even have to do Pod Basement. It's a minute to grab the lamp. She's familiar enough with Meyer Basement, I don't think it'll slow her down by a minute to do it in the dark.
Now, once you've practiced, Dark Meyer Basement is not that hard, and even Dark Spooky isn't that hard if you know the right tricks, so it's not that bad if you have a practice. Honestly, I think it's one of the... With practice, it's one of the less scary dark rooms, in my opinion.
There's Quake for Nep.
There it is. Ether could allow for some quick kill rooms later. Oh, I don't see Nep using that. Yeah. Oh, I guess while you're here, you might as well grab the item off Lake Hylia. This makes sense if you're here already.
And, well, if you're here at this point, you're doing ice as well.
Yep, you might as well add it in all together. This makes complete sense. So, yeah, this is where, like, Hype Cave having the Quake and forgetting it isn't that bad. The bigger thing would just be having to waste time going to Meyer and find out the bad news. But at the end of the day, that's far from, like, the worst skip you could have done by accident. You know, you can easily ride it back in, not waste too much time.
And we do see that there is indeed a forced double dip of TR. Which looks like High Ruler is now on his way to do his first dip of TR.
Yep, also grab those flippers. Totally reasonable.
But for the moment, we are tied up at 3 crystals apiece.
Yeah, because High Ruler hasn't done Skull Woods, which is Maybe, I guess Hyrule just didn't feel comfortable maybe doing Mothula on that low of hearts, perhaps? Or just decided it would be nice to add it in later. Huh.
Well,
I'm not wondering about that choice.
I mean, now he has Blue Mail, which does, absorb half of the damage from Moth. Of course, the spikes are 1 heart of damage no matter what mail you're wearing.
Yeah. I'm guessing just decided that since Squirrel doesn't have anything critical, it'd just be safer to do it later when you have more safeties, which is a completely reasonable call. Play it more safely. They'll take another dip into the area of, well, yeah, take another dip into that area later, but, yeah, not too bad a call. I believe Nep did grab the big key, right? An Ice Palace?
I think so.
Because he also didn't hit the switch, so they have to have the big key. So I think they're gonna grab the item out of big chest here. Nope, they're gonna skip it. Okay. That big chest had half magic, by the way, if they'd wanted it. Which you don't need, but definitely a nice safety that wasn't super out of the way. I personally would have grabbed it, but time saved to skip it. And you have Bombos for this fight, so you won't be holding for magic on this particular fight with Bombos and Tempered Sword for the Cold Stare hits. Okay, solid fight.
High Ruler realizing he is short a small key. That you do need to watch your small keys going through PR. That was unfortunate.
How far back was High Ruler when he noticed?
That he was in Chain Chomp's room, so
okay,
he's just gonna go to Compass Chest and get a small key. It's not a huge deal, but it does, again, especially since we don't have boots, it eats up at least half a minute, if not more.
Absolutely. And spoiler log, that amount of time is a much bigger deal in a non-spoiler log mode. Okay, so now, Nep will go into Mire. And with all medallions, there should be no concern. Snap will definitely skip that lamp. So I'm trying to think what else will people want to grab. So I'd say most likely after this, we'll probably see.
I think she's just gonna go back to the mountain after this, finish off PR, do Hera, and then into GT.
Yeah, you have all the items you need.
And there are some safeties in GT. We'll see which ones of those she grabs.
Yeah, GT there's some interesting routing you can do in there, but it's some good items. But this depends what people prioritize. But we are essentially in Go mode. People don't have to grab any more items at this point. You just be grabbing items to make things safer and easier at this point for yourself. Besides, like big keys and keys, obviously, which you obviously have to grab for the dungeons.
Right, which is why we're taking this nice little march to get the vanilla big key in Mire.
Of course, it's in cutscene chest. You know, it has to be. We can't skip it.
What's interesting is vanilla preset is basically a spoiler race, and it takes a lot longer than most spoiler layouts, which just shows you how intentionally inefficient the vanilla item placement is. I mean, the devs were trying to make you explore the whole game.
Yeah. Which is extra crazy because in the vanilla game you actually get boots pretty early too, and it still takes a while. In all the dungeons, all like the vanilla big keys and vanilla items are in like the most inconvenient spots. See, in the vanilla game, it's pretty slow. And Hyrule gets their flippers, and we'll have an easy time now getting the ice rod, and like Hylia, probably may also get an ice palace like Neps did.
Yeah, so now Nep needs to refill her magic here. Yep. To make sure she has plenty of magic for that cape.
And could go for the spooky here by using the ice rod setup in place of the boots or silvers to keep the trick active. I'm thinking she won't do that because she has Samari out already, so she's probably not going to bother with spooky, which I don't blame her for doing. It's dark room, and the ice rod strat is a bit more of a pain than the silvers and boots. Not too bad, but you can do it.
Hey, for safeties we're not getting, I just looked up where powder was because I was wondering. That is in King's Tomb. Given our lack of boots, there is no way we are getting powder.
Nope. I remember, I think Mushroom is in GT. If you want a fake powder, we saw your magic.
Oh yeah, people do fake powder at the top of GT sometimes.
Inep is a bit low on arrows, but having Cape and Temper means this fight should still be pretty easy. I expect she will save 8 of those arrows for the last eye, the big guy, and the little ones just use Cape and Tempered Sword. But that does mean Nep will want to get some arrows before heading up the GT climb for the Mimic Rooms, which shouldn't be too hard. You'll need to get a few more arrows and to be okay.
Yeah, and there are arrows in chests. She just needs to look up where there's a chest with arrows.
Exactly, and there's even some pots in the basement area on the left side if you really wanted to wrap that in GT. Okay, should be, as you mentioned earlier, Dross, should be going to Mountain and knocking out Tiara now.
Yep, and this also gives us a better sense of the time difference between the runners because High Ruler still needs to finish off Ice, and then he'll need to quickly go to Skull Woods before he can go up the mountain.
Yep. Yeah, the main things with High Ruler, he grabbed a couple more safeties. He had that one death. I think also he had the much slower Vitreous fight in Meyer because he didn't have Cape and a lot of arrows to supplement that. And then that one issue in TR.
Okay, so High Ruler skipped the big key, which means he's not going to get half magic either.
Yep, I feel like I would have grabbed that half magic. I think it's on the rain. If that's me, I can totally get skipping it. But I don't think they have a green potion. They could have grabbed a green potion out of Uncle area, but no one went and grabbed that, which is fair because you don't need to go to Uncle in front of Escape otherwise. So it is bad out of the way. At the moment, no one has any type of magic refill. But at least with Ice, you do have a Bombo, so it means for Ice Palace, you don't need major magic. It's more just a question of Trinex, if you're comfortable, not messing up that fight. You do have Tempered, so it shouldn't be too bad of a fight, but if you do miss, if you get a little off your game, you miss too many fire or ice sweat shots, that could be bad. But GT will probably be the bigger question mark of, maybe wanting the magic refill.
So, interestingly, neither runner got the bottle in the bottom of Paradox Cave. They both bombed the entrance there and then didn't actually open the chest to get a second bottle.
Yeah, that one would have had a B, but still, you could have filled it up somewhere.
I mean, we have a flute. Filling potions takes no more time than it does in a non-spoiler race.
And you can route that in arguably faster than a lot of the heart containers, other things that you could grab for safety. So it's not a bad way to get a safety. That's faster than a lot of other options that you might route in. That's a good point.
So, yeah, Nep's going down here with just one small key, so she's going to need to get the key off of Laser Bridge. High Ruler has 2 small, so when he goes back to TR, he won't need to do Laser Bridge.
That'll help some. Yeah, I feel like High Ruler would have been good enough to where he could have done Skull Ridge on a ship into Thieves. Maybe he just wasn't thinking about it. Because he had like 7 hearts, I think, already on his first trip in. To Skull Ridge. No blue mail, but 7 hearts with Tempered. Amatha, I feel like would be pretty doable for High Ruler. So I'm thinking maybe just didn't think about routing it in at the time. That'd be my hunch.
Yeah, I can't remember where he went after Thieves. Ooh, Nep getting bodied by that mini Helma.
Dang. Okay. This Trinix fight shouldn't be too bad, but if you let it get chaotic, you don't have any sort of magic refill, no half magic, and if you take a hit or 2, that's also covered. So, Nep should have no problem, but if you get a little shaky, it can go bad. Okay. Should be fine. Can't get hit again, but should be fine. You're at the easy part now. You're gonna be okay.
Here's where Tempered makes a big difference versus Master.
Absolutely. Nice.
And as Nep grabs her 6th crystal, High Ruler is about to get his 5th, assuming this Moth fight goes well. Did you just do a spin attack on Moth with the Tempered Sword? That doesn't actually do damage.
Yeah. And then also has the sword beams, which are really annoying and slowing it down. High Ruler's using sword beams here?
Well, it worked.
It worked. Okay.
Just to remark on spin attacks on Moth. Spike tiles do the same damage to enemies as Butter Sword, but the developers, in their infinite wisdom, since they didn't want Moth to be taking damage from the spikes in its own chamber, were like, okay, Moth can't take damage to that level of weapon, which includes Butter Sword slashes and Temper Sword spins. The Rando devs made it so that Butter Sword slashes will damage Moth as though they were Tempered Sword slashes, but Tempered spins still won't damage.
Nice Hero Pot by Nep.
To answer chat, I think Moth still is vulnerable to class 5 damage, so if you did a spin with the gold sword, you would still damage Moth, but I can't swear to it.
Oh.
Wait, class 5? No, I thought class 4 was the spikes. Class 5 is Butter Sword spin.
I have no idea. I just knew that I knew the Golden Sword couldn't do it with regular slashes. That's all I knew. People normally use pokes, I believe, with Golden Sword on Mothra. I think. Okay. And now we have Nap headed into GT.
Yeah, and if you want to guess the location for the big key. Yeah, don't guess numbers because they know where it is.
Yeah, I'm not think it's going to be 22. Maybe the last try.
And I am confirming on the table, class 4 damage is tempered spin, butter splash, butter dash poke, or spike tile.
No
And
mushroom.
then class 5 is just butter spin.
Okay, cool. Good to know. What was in back left at GT? I don't remember. We'll find out together. Okay, yeah, you need some more keys. Okay, see, there. Nep used the other. Was not a total waste of time. Was worth going to Ice Rod Cave just to be able to do that.
There you go.
And gets the arrow refill.
I'm sure that was her plan.
Yeah, all along. She's like, I gotta have that other for Stalfos room in GT. Okay, no boomerangs this race, so they were both kind of inconvenient using Samaria for these switches. Yeah, that's one thing that's gonna be weird about watching spoiler log is seeing them skip chests so willy-nilly in it. Almost pains me to watch it sometimes, and I'm like, why didn't you open that chest? You're supposed to open them.
Collection rate is usually between 50 and 60, I would say. So there's High Ruler getting to skip Laser Bridge.
If you don't have boots, I never thought about you doing a bomb jump there. That makes sense. Get over that portal. Good idea. I'll have to steal that.
Not sure how much time it actually saves compared to just going through 2 portals. I guess it is still a little bit faster.
Yeah, it's probably like a second or two, so like not that important, but it does time save. And you don't need the bombs. Oh, you need 1 bomb. Just the 1 though. Oh, another one for the other bomb jump you just did. But obviously, it must be something good if Nep's coming all the way down here.
Good old vanilla big key.
And I assume she's going to go ahead and climb. Can we spoil what was in Compass Room, Drossi?
We'll see how High Ruler
High
plays
Ruler
it.
routes it.
Because he's about to do Hera, and that's quick, and then I actually want to see how he routes the basement.
I'm curious if he routes in right side some. I can see why Nep didn't, but I'm interested to see. And we'll see if they grab any more chests on the way up top on this climb. Probably gonna grab his arrow refill. No, not grabbing the arrow refill from the pot.
Yeah, that's a little surprising.
I would have thought you would want that.
Yeah, I mean, just in the gauntlet even it can be useful to have arrows.
Yeah, there are a couple pots in the gauntlet that do have arrows if you know them. I think 2 of the rooms have arrow pots, I believe. So she might grab those if she remembers. But I would think she would want the arrows. She might grab that refill. And she's on arrows right now, so maybe she will. I think the next 2 rooms have the pots. And I think each one has 1 pot with arrows in it. I forget which ones.
High Ruler having problems with Herapot here. 3rd time's the charm.
Gets that one. And Nep saying no. I don't think there's any more arrow pots. I think that was it. Well, what about the cannonball room?
I mean, there are arrows after Landmo 2. So she could always grab that one.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about those. She's good. She can grab those. She's fine. If she wants them for later. You're right. I completely forgot about those. I should know about that, because I grab those regularly.
Given that she didn't take half magic, she can't really afford to spend the magic to Fire Rod Landmo. She has no arrows, so we're just doing it with a sword.
Yeah, tempered sword it is.
2 tempered spins per worm.
Okay, there.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, I forgot about that pot. My bad.
And meanwhile, that is High Ruler's 7th crystal, so he will just go through his mirror portal and open up GT.
We'll see how he routes this to get his big key. What else he grabs on the way there? Oof. Yeah, this is where boots would make this a lot easier. You can just dash right through. People are often used to having boots for this room, so when you don't have it, it can be a bit tricky to get through rooms like this. Like, not difficult, but you might lose some time to falling off or being hit a bunch. And Nep doesn't have lamps, gotta use fire rod here, which is fine. This means you'll have to grab more magic refills after this room in order to do the following rooms, which is not a big deal. Definitely still faster than grabbing the lamp. And Nep doing just fine with blue mail, 6 hearts, making this look easy. Let's see if doesn't need any keys, but let's see if she opens any of these chests. Okay, gets the silvers. That's why we were wondering if she was gonna get the arrow refill, because we knew silvers were on the way up, and Nep knew. So we were like, don't want to go into the Ganon fight with your silvers, but not enough arrows. That would sting. Gets the mana refill. Our ruler is going to the right. Okay, he's going to do right side. I knew you meant Captain. You're good.
And Sailor Nep does pull the Butter Sword from Moldorm's last possession.
Yeah.
Why not? It makes it more likely to get a 1-1.
Yeah, the GT climb was pretty nice on this seed. That's also probably why they skipped the half magic, because in Ice Palace you had Bombos and Tempered, so you didn't really need the extra magic. And here in GT, they knew they were going to have Silvers and Golden Sword, so they really don't need to worry about magic a whole lot in this seed. It's not as bad as a lot of other seeds can be. Trinex might have been the scariest part if you messed up, but a good player won't be too worried about Trinex and magic. If you have Tempered or Hammer. Well, you have to have Hammer.
So, yeah, now High Ruler has the boots, and honestly, I was kind of expecting Nep to do this routing. You know, grab the boots and then go down full right.
That's what I was expecting, because there wasn't anything on the left side besides you had to go to left at the beginning to get a key. But or maybe even 2 keys. But other than that, going right side made more sense because you can grab those boots and they make your climb a lot easier too and faster. But you know, I don't know how much time it would really save you to grab the boots, because you have to go to the left side to grab some keys first.
And hey, High Ruler is also like nice and full up on arrows, though. Again, Nep has 6, which is greater than 4, so she should be fine on this fight.
Absolutely. The High Ruler's going to use a bunch of arrows here, but he should still have, you know, 10 or 12 left over. Also, a good point. There is a key in Bob's chest, so you could have grabbed that one and just grabbed the one key off the that first pot left side. You're right. Just get the pot key and then grab the key out of the Bob's chest. That's a good point. That probably would have been the best way to route it. But the way our players did it were also very reasonable approaches. Silvers were in the right chest of Mini Helma room. High Ruler will probably grab those shortly. Okay, did miss one arrow there.
Close enough.
Still have one extra. That's why you have 2 extra arrows.
So get your GGs in for Sailor Nep.
Yeah, great time by Sailor Nep.
She finishes with an official race time of 1:11:43, which is really 56:43 when you subtract the study time. First on the restream, second overall, Humbug was 2.5 minutes ahead of her. And we are joined by Sailor Nep, GG.
Thanks. GG's to the others.
I'm guessing you misread the log for Meyer Medallion?
Yeah, English is so hard, you know? I mean, it's my native language, but...
Etherquake, they look alike.
I don't know. I was like, I'm going into the interview and I'm gonna be like, my biggest regret is I can't read.
You used it in Zoom and GT, so I think it worked out.
Yeah. The time between myself and first place finisher didn't surprise me between that error, the issue with the chain chomps being particularly mean. Those little things, you know, I'm like, yeah, that's not surprising.
I was gonna say, I think those were really the only two things that really like stood out to me. All your decisions otherwise made a lot of sense. I think to Drosy and I and everyone else.
The routing was very nice. Like even just the opening, getting that bomb so you could get the flute right off the bat and not double
really
back activate.
I was so pleased that I didn't have to keep trying.
Yeah, imagine getting a 50-50 the first time.
Right?
One question I have for you, Sailor, was in GT. So you chose to skip the boots and compass room. What was your thinking on that?
Kind of like pouting. I was just like, if they're not gonna just show up, and if they're gonna make me pump the whole time, I'm just gonna keep with it.
I mean, I was honestly expecting you to go get them. High Ruler went and got them. High Ruler also just skipped silver arrows. I'm not sure why he did that. Oh, now he's going back for it.
Yeah.
For me, the one thing that was kind of a change of course that I slightly regretted was I skipped Half Magic and Ice Pals despite it being kind of easy to get to. I was just kind of like, well, after that Ether snafu, I'm not going to win anyway, so let's have a resource management challenge. It'll be more fun that way.
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing. You highly really made the exact same decision to skip that Half Magic, but you already had the big key, I believe. So, but it makes sense because you didn't need it in Ice that badly because you had Tempered and Bombos, and then for GT you knew you would have silvers for the GT for the Ganon fight. So, I can see here you really didn't need the Half Magic. It just would have been a nice safety.
Yeah, I did have to give up a couple landmail cycles though, because I realized if I use the Fire Rod real hard right now, I'm possibly going to run out of Magic and Torch Room, and that's going to be the run.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Hyrule just skipped Butter Sword. He skipped the Golden Sword in Moldorm.
That's good. We're going full-on Tempered Silverless then. That's exciting.
No, he went back and got the silvers.
Okay.
So not except for the Phase 1 and Phase 2. You know, it technically doesn't lose any time. Technically, it's a time gain if you play perfectly in the first two phases. But, you know, it's easier with the Golden Sword.
Yeah. With the boots collected, I'd say it's worth it to skip the Golden Sword, if you're real confident. Without the boots, you can end up getting kind of bullied position-wise, and you can still
dash
do
pokes
it,
and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That's a good point.
But overall, that one was really interesting. I actually kind of had to sit there for a moment and be like, this is really a required double dip at TR, right? And then I just kind of came to the conclusion that, like, if the community figured out some trick that I slept on where you can skip that, then shame on me, I guess.
We were discussing if there had been, you know, early boots, you could have water walked to Lake Hylia Island, but alas.
You don't even have boots. You couldn't even done that. But yeah, I've covered it too. Yeah. Dang.
But yeah, like, I hadn't even thought to check where Ice Rod was until you started going to TR, and I was like, oh, she's going to TR without the Ice Rod. Where's the Ice Rod? And then it was like, oh.
Yeah, that was... it didn't feel good, but it was required, so it didn't matter. The one thing I kind of did in TR was go to the big chest for a small key, because after the chain chomp incident, I was like, I'm just not having this. I'm just like, I'm not willing to chance something else happening.
Yeah, spoiler racing is definitely sort of a once beaten and I'm not sure if I'd say twice shy, but at least the second time you rethink what you do and don't want to do.
Yeah, definitely. There were a couple other little things, but not even really worth mentioning. It was more just like, I kind of neglected to check what actually was in the bottom room, Paradox Cave, and then I was kind of like trying to scroll through the spoiler log while walking over there, and I didn't do a good job of it.
And meanwhile, get your GGs in for High Ruler, who is finishing second on the restream, fourth overall, 117.57, which is 102.57 after the study time.
GG's to High Roller.
Still a solid time.
Very.
Yeah, I mean, given how much walking around this seed made you do,
Yeah.
going a little over an hour is not too bad.
Yeah, I think the mainest things about the seed have to be what boots and compass room, the double dip in TR required because of flippers. I guess the nice things were you got the Oli flute, and you got silvers and a sword on the way up on GT climb. But definitely some gross things about the seed. Oh, then you had to go to pendant pod for hookshot, but pod always has something.
Let's see if we can get High Ruler in here.
One thing I kind of think about in hindsight is I probably should have just taken the mids directly to TR, getting Zora first, but I was trying to like put off getting the sync chest for forever, and I just didn't think about it. Wasn't worth it.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. You're right. You could have totally gone to Zora sooner and had your Samaria when you up, because you already had your hammer and Titan mitts and just grabbed the flippers in. It's a good point.
I would have saved a little walking. I would bet Humbug probably did that too.
Yeah, because I think the two main issues you had, which were the quick medallion and your death and chain chops, weren't enough to quite equal the time. So that makes a lot of sense now that you mention it.
Yeah, it's those little things in spoiler logs. They add up so quickly.
Yeah, it's part of what makes it so interesting and fun to route, or not fun to route, however you want to look at it.
Yeah, I like the mode a lot.
I love watching it. You guys put on a good show. You got a collection rate of 57. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, well, I said somewhere between 50 and 60 was what I was expecting.
Yeah, you were right.
Yeah, that seems like an okay rate.
High Ruler, I was just messaging with, he says he's going to pass on an interview, not feeling great after that.
Aw, it's too bad.
Yeah, I mean, he called it sloppy. I don't think it was especially sloppy.
Oh, man.
But, yeah, I mean, not quite as efficient routing as Nep, but other than that, I don't think he did poorly at all.
No, absolutely not. I could understand having personal frustrations with your own gameplay. I feel that a lot, so understandable. But I enjoyed watching him play, and I think he made a lot of very reasonable plays and calls.
Yeah, honestly, the biggest thing I'd question from his routing was just his decision to do Meyer before Eastern, so he didn't have the cape for Vitreous.
I agree, and I do feel like he should try to do Modular with these. He had 7 hearts and 10
Oh,
at the
yeah,
time.
that too.
I feel like that's enough equipment to be able to do that. He probably just forgot about it at the time, I would guess.
But now that I think about it, there was something I made that wasn't an error in the game, but an error in my attitude. I forgot to exercise my right to watch the restream during this race.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, we said at the beginning that runners were welcome to be in the restream or each other's channels or anything.
Yeah, I usually will do a thing like that when it's allowed, but this time it just kind of didn't cross my mind.
That's why Humba got first.
Well.
He was copying all your good strategies and planning ahead. That's what
Copy
it
the
was.
good ones, don't do the bad ones.
Yeah.
Though, hey, if you had watched the restream, you would have heard us wondering why you didn't grab Quake your first time at Hype Cave.
I probably would have still not helped him enough.
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna skip something, that's one of the better things to skip, in a race. It was just how to
Yeah,
get back
it
to.
felt bad when I got to that moment, but when I Control F and type Quake, I realized, okay, well, it's not that bad.
Yeah, it wasn't like deep in some dungeon or someplace you like deep back in the back of pod or something gross.
Yeah, I was thinking Thieves' Town Attic would be a really painful one too.
Oh, yeah.
So for other things, spoiler, how's the spoiler pilot tournament treating you? I know you and Relkin have made it pretty far in at this point.
Yeah, we are about to have our first bracket matches this week. We have one scheduled for Thursday night, so that's gonna be fun. To be honest, we got our groups out of the way before the holidays, and then
Oh,
we haven't really practiced since.
so you've just been resting for 2 months.
Uh-huh.
Well, and you earned yourself a bye, so you didn't have to play in the first round either.
Yeah, I hope Elkin wasn't watching this. He'll be like, okay, your job is reading, and you didn't do that good today.
So you're piloting him?
That's correct. He's unquestionably the better player, long run, so for me, piloting's a good fit. I also tell him, you don't want, like, your blood pressure to know my noting process, because my noting process is I actually don't write anything down when piloting. I just memorize everything.
If it works. If
It does.
works.
It does. If I make mistakes, it's not that would be a fault of it. It's just sometimes brain go boom.
Well, I think that's all I've got. Specs or Nep, either of you have anything else?
I'll just say thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun, and I'll probably try to make it for future Spoiler Daily.
Sounds good. Thanks for volunteering for the restream.
Yeah, thanks for putting on a good show for us.
Alright, well, with
And-
that, I'm out. Bye-bye.
And do give these runners a follow, other than the bot is now misbehaving, but you can see them in chat. You can see what their Twitch handles are. So this was fun. Next up for the daily is going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. We will have a Retrance race. So keep your eyes out for a channel for that. Okay, the bot's just flat out dead. That's the problem.
Regardless, the Veterans is a fun mode. It's a nice like twist on cross keys, kind of. It's really cool to watch.
Yeah, it's
Gameplay.
basically cross keys with a starting sword and retro stuff like rupee bow and universal small keys.
Yeah, it's a cool mode.
And beyond that, I guess the next big thing is keep a lookout for the main tournament, which is going to be starting at the end of March with a lot of races here on the Speed Gaming family of channels. So if you like ALTTPR, that's going to be the next big event. Unless you speak French or German, there are French and German tournaments going on Speed Gaming Français and Speed Gaming Deutsch. So give those a check if you want to see some foreign ALTTPR action. Oh, and shout outs to Hugo Maya, our tracker, who I don't think we've shouted out, but, you know, tracking spoiler is definitely a challenging thing with how quickly the runners zip from place to place and keep picking up items. So we really appreciate having a tracker to be on top of it so that we don't have to be.
Yeah, thank you, Hugo. It definitely helps us out a lot. So thanks a ton.
And Specs, this was awesome to work with you again.
Yeah, I had a great time. Thanks for bringing me on today.
Yeah, glad we could have it work. And let's see, is there anything else on the schedule today? Yes, the Zelda 1 Rando tournament has just gotten underway, and apparently there'll be several races taking us through the evening. On this channel, there are races at 5 p.m., 8 p.m., and 10:30 p.m. So tune back in for those later if you want to see the earlier Zelda. It's a good community too. They're pretty robust, and that should be a great tournament, honestly. But with that, thank you all for watching, and have a good one.
Thanks, guys. See ya.